Welcome to another episode of Is It Worth It? Also known as IIWI. Here's our host, Maisha.
6 months ago, we had 10 teenagers come on the show and tell us about their drug addictions. We gave them each a method, and today we're going to see how these worked out.
Go.
Our first case came to us 6 months ago. Her name was Brett, and she is 16 years old. She was sadly addicted to a drug called marijuana. It is normally a dry, shredded green and brown mix of the hemp plant. Now, THC, when marijuana is smoked, passes from the lungs to the bloodstream, to the brain, and all around the body. Now we have Brett, who's going to talk to us about how she got past her addiction using the peer pressure method.
Hi everyone. 6 months ago, I could not stop smoking marijuana. Not surprisingly, marijuana caused distorted perceptions and difficulty with thinking. Then I began to analyze the situation. My peers were influencing me. I had always been the odd one out. And the only reason I started to smoke was because I was being pressured by my so-called friends. And after thinking about the situation, I decided to hang out with a new group of people. They didn't pressure me to doing anything I didn't want to do, and the craving for marijuana just got less and less every day.
Now we have Maria, a former heroin addict. Heroin actually comes from the Asian poppy plant. It is a depressant that inhibits the central nervous system. Now, people who use heroin often seek a high, a euphoria, which is a pleasant sensation in the brain. Now, the dangerous thing about heroin is that the more tolerant someone becomes to heroin, the bigger dosage they'll have to have. Now, Maria has used the stress relief method.
I just got to college last year. I'm the first person in my family to graduate from high school. I had a lot of pressure on myself. My exams were coming up and I had to study and I just couldn't take it anymore. So I started heroin. When I realized how dangerous and how messed up I'd become, I knew I needed to find a solution, and so I went and started exercising. I'd go to the gym and I'd train, and whenever I felt a craving, I would go for a run. Thank you.
Crack cocaine, anyone? Here on IIWI, we have our very own crack cocaine addict. First of all, what is crack cocaine? Some basics. When smoked, it gives smokers a short but intense high. Crack moves through the bloodstream and leaves users energized and alert. It also makes them more sensitive to sight, sound, and touch. Now, this crack cocaine addict, Debbie, has chosen the mental illness method.
My long-term boyfriend dumped me a few months ago at the altar, and I was absolutely distraught. I had just gotten my bachelor's degree, and my PhD seemed in reach. Everything was perfect. I began to sink into depression. I had nobody to turn to. My parents hated me. I was abused at home. I turned to crack cocaine. The feelings and sensations were amazing. I felt like I could do anything. One day I came across an article about drugs. After reading about the possible heart seizures, strokes, I had to do something. After coming here, I asked for medical help from a trained professional. He would listen to me hours on end, sympathizing, even joking. Knowing that there are people like that I had friends, gave me strength to stop my addiction.
Now we're going to talk about a hallucinogenic drug named LSD. It disrupts the normal functioning of your brain, short-term or for life. Visual judgment, sensations, mood changes are all distorted, and you're not even conscious of any of it. Jean here overcame her addiction using the risk factor method.
When I first found out about this method, I didn't think it would work. What I had to do was to list down the risk factors that would affect me if I kept on taking this drug. They included biological, environmental, and physical. I did exactly that, and what I found out forced me into changing my habits. I mean, I had always known my addiction would have impacts on me, but seeing the results like going to prison or a rehabilitation center, it didn't seem worth it.
Can you see?
Methamphetamine, a central nervous system stimulant drug. It is so abused that a person can only have this drug with a prescription, and it cannot even be refilled. A white, odorless crystal, it can be snorted, injected, or smoked. High amounts of chemicals are released into the brain, which causes a rush. Now we have Jade, who has used the trigger and craving method.
My first step was to learn my trigger. It wasn't that hard to realize that whenever I had a cold, which was often, and I used the cough syrup, which contained small traces of meth, I'd go to my store and snort some more. Once that was all figured, I had to refrain myself from using cough syrup at all. During my cravings, I would sit down and wait it out.
A more famous drug, ecstasy, also known as the party drug. Clubbers use ecstasy to feel energized, happy, stay awake, and dance for hours on end. The after effects include confusion, depression, severe anxiety, and can show up days or weeks after the initial drug intake. Caesar here used the priorities method.
Yeah, so let me make this quick. The method mostly consisted of sorting out the life priorities, like I have any. And since I was going through a pretty rough time, I somehow failed all of my IGCSEs. Whatever. I was extremely depressed and I went clubbing every night, waking up in all sorts of different beds with different people. Details are R-rated. So after coming to the show, I wrote down a list of things that were important to me. Sure, I really wanted to get into engineering school, but what about my family, my friends? Would they like seeing me throwing away my life for some drugs? I don't think so. And to all of my fans in Japan, hi Mom.
Another of the more popular drugs, cocaine. This is a highly addictive drug and creates an irresistible desire for the drug. It also creates a strong sense of excitement, invincibility, and also makes the user feel carefree, alert, and gives lots of energy. It is also followed by anxiety, fear, depression, and lasts for at least 2 hours. Joanna here was highly addicted to the drug, and therefore was given the support method.
To say I was addicted would be an understatement. I would have cocaine daily. The feeling that I would get would constantly leaving me wanting more. I had shunned my entire family in one of my bouts of depression using the drug, and they were the only thing I had left. It was my bane. This method was a long and a grueling process. I had professionals watching my intake every day. I couldn't just stop. I had to be weaned off of it. If I had too little, I would be plagued by plagues of headaches and a horrible hunger. It took me months. But now I feel with that cocaine off of my life, I'm a better person than usual.
Another crowd pleaser. Woo! Opium. Taken from poppy plants, which can be found in different countries all over the world, it is a tar-like and sticky substance. It can cause emotional detachment, absence of pain and stress, altered mood, sleepiness, vomiting, and even death. Vicky used the truth method.
I was forced to come on this show. I never thought I had a problem in the first place. The drug would make me happy, and that was that. My sister brought me here in hopes that I would see differently, and I did. The only thing that was stopping me from not getting over my addiction was the truth. I refused to admit to myself that I had a problem. Once I did, it went faster. I limited myself and set strict times to which I would have smaller amounts. I knew I had a problem and I was determined to resolve it.
Now for psilocybin mushrooms, also known as psychedelic mushrooms, usually taken orally, found as dried mushroom or capsules. Alterations to reality. People see music and hear colors. Responses vary from nausea to suicide, and that cure has taken the diet treatment.
I was a very rebellious teenager and was hooked onto the magic mushrooms from a very young age. It was crazy, man. You could see the colors. But at one point, it got way too scary. Coming on here, I was told to do something so normal. It was just weird. A diet. True to my word, I began to eat healthier. No more chocolates. And carefully selecting everything I was about to eat. Surely enough, the effects started taking place, and I started to feel good in my own body. Didn't need those mushrooms. Now we have PCP, also known as phencyclidine, which comes in powder and liquid forms. It can also mood states of a person unpredictably, which can make them either detached or animated. It is illegal in many countries and highly popular. Here, we are going to use the PET method on Cali.
When I heard what they wanted me to do, I was thrown off thinking it was a joke. What happened was, when I got home from the show 6 months ago, I was given a gift. A dog. See, I was generally an awkward and emotional person. I believed everyone hated me and was sensitive to an extreme. Yet, the animal understood me. I came to care for it and look after it. It gave me a feeling of well-being. I still have a slight addiction, but I think that I, with the help of Baba, can overcome it.